Welcome back to some more Williams Road to Glory here today, and this is round 3 of the season for the Vietnam Grand Prix. Now if you guys have missed the first 2 rounds of the previous round, I'll leave them both linked up in the top right hand corner of the screen because of course a brand new season, new upgrades, a new kind of outlook with the 2021 mod, and a lot of you guys to kind of catch up on. So if you haven't seen it, I do recommend getting up to speed on the first 2 races. But today we are here at Vietnam and I'm looking forward to it because it's a race where usually we've got a strong chance at points. It was the first race last year where we had a pretty decent chance of getting some points, and hopefully we can try and do that again here today. Also, we've got some big upgrades for this weekend, so let's jump into it and let's see what they are. If you guys enjoy the video, leave a like, subscribe for more, and let's see what's new in Vietnam. We look at the weather forecast first of all, and you can see we have rain expected for qualifying, so that could be very spicy. The race though will be dry. We then look at the performance chart, and as I mentioned, we have 3 upgrades on the car this weekend. They're all minor ones, but 2 of them are for the aerodynamics, 1 is for the chassis, and we've taken a big step forward this weekend as we close the gap to the teams ahead and overtake Alfa Romeo, and we move back up to 2nd from last in terms of the performance chart. We've got 1 more upgrade on the way for the chassis, and hopefully we'll add some more in today's episode. So hopefully at the end, you know, it'll be a major one if we can, so stay tuned for that. But with that, we move to practice and we start off the weekend here at Hanoi, and a track that I actually don't mind too much. It's not my favorite, but there's tracks I hate more than this, like for example the Russian Grand Prix, and also Sector 3 around here is actually pretty fun. So yeah, we jump into practice and just to kind of get an understanding to see what the car is, and to be fair, it was a bit oversteery, a bit all over the place, but in general the pace seemed good. So even though the feeling of the car wasn't great for me, the actual performance was there, which is important. So we take our R&D points total over 1,000 after practice, and we gain a very little bit of acclaim. But with that, we move to qualifying. As you can see, the rain is in full flow here as we jump into Q1, and a qualifying session in which it's going to be quite interesting because we've only got 3 sets of intermediates, of course, for this session, and we have to make it last because obviously if we get to Q3, we need some kind of fresh tire at the end potentially. So in Q1, I'm going to go out for just 1 run. You know, it's going to be a multiple lap run, but it's just going to be the one. And this one here, you can see my first time lap, not a great one, getting up to speed to the conditions and just kind of getting to the comfort zone. So we go P16, quite a way off the pace. We then move on to a second lap. Of course, I'm going to do these laps back to back, and this was the second one already, you know, over a 10th up through turn 2. And we're going to cut to the end of the lap now. You can see we're the better part of 8/10 up now as we end Sector 2. So a lot better, a lot more on the pace, and just getting that confidence really as, you know, every lap goes on, every corner goes by, I'm feeling more and more comfortable. The conditions are going to stay quite consistent, so you can see we've already gained pretty much a full second on our previous lap as we head towards the final couple of corners here to end off the lap. And we're going to see what this goes because we're currently P16 in the knockout zone. Russell, the one at risk, of course, on the bubble in P15, but we're going to see now as we make our way through the final corner, we're going to improve by 1.2 seconds, and it's going to give us P10, so a big step up for us and a big improvement. We head on to what will be now my final lap, but unfortunately I make a bit of a mistake into turn 1. I run really hard on the brakes and throw away pretty much 3/10 of a second in turn 1 alone. I then tried to kind of recover that, you know, and push over the rest of the lap, and to be fair, I gained a bit in the middle sector. We set a purple sector 2, and I made some lap time back, but we're still, let's say, half a tenth down now. But then through here you can see I lose the back end, we hit the wall, and we lose our entire front wing. Very lucky to not lose my front right or front left suspension, but yeah, we're going to lose the front wing. Luckily, it doesn't mean much as nobody else really improved, and we end the qualifying session in P10 and comfortably through into Q2. For George Russell, it's going to be P16 and a Q1 knockout once again as he just misses out by the smallest of margins, but unfortunately, it's going to be just 1 Williams car progressing into Q2. And yeah, overall, a good start to the weekend. Of course, that crash, not ideal. It left me without time to go for another run, and also I didn't want to use another set of soft of it. And also I didn't want to use another fresh set of intermediates because that would have been not ideal for us. So we moved to Q2, and again I left it quite late. Similar pattern to the Q1 session. We're just going to go for 1 run with 3 laps, I believe. And again, planning to use just the 1 set of inters in this session in case we get into Q3. And you can see currently this is my first time lap. We go P9. The second lap, I get a bit of a tow actually from one of the Renault Alpines. I believe that was Daniel Ricciardo, but that gave me a bit too much of an overspeed, and I actually ended up running very deep into the hairpin and ruining my lap pretty much. So it didn't really work out as Ricciardo actually re-overtakes us, and I then went for another lap This one though, I made a bit of a mistake. I broke a bit too late, missed the corner here, and I'm just going to pretty much give up on the lap, save fuel, and try and squeeze one more lap out with the fuel we have left. And that's exactly what we're going to try and do, because of course you don't use as much fuel in the rain. There's a lot more lift and coast and early braking, so therefore fuel consumption isn't as high. You can see here we're going to start the lap with just under 1.5, and we don't start off in the best way, getting a bit of oversteer there through the final corner, but now we're underway down towards turn 1. We're going to brake at the 100-meter board, down to second gear, try and pick up the apex. Now actually we hit first gear just for a bit of rotation. We then keep the car tight through 2, which opens up turn 3, and then also opens up into turn 4 with a very tight apex here. You want to kind of sacrifice that to open the left at 5 and to carry the speed through 6 onto this back straight as we end sector 1. We then make our way down towards the heavy brake zone, of course, this little right left chicane, which opens up into a kind of long swooping hairpin. Important again here to kind of open up the right to really, you know, give yourself full room to attack the hairpin. And again, late apex through here, trying to straight line your exit as much as possible, using a short shifting method to try and get that traction down, as we're currently a 1/10 and a half up. And yeah, to be fair, not too bad. Finding a bit of time. The previous lap was actually quite good. We're currently P10, so any improvement here would be a good one, but I am pretty much near the limit in terms of pace. Hairpin time, we're going to brake as the curb appears on the right hand side. Just before that, down to first gear, late apex again to avoid the outside curb and to try and straight line and get a nice clean exit. We actually find 2.5 tenths through there, so really nice hairpin. Then brake late here for this right hander, and to be fair, I probably broke a bit early. I lost a bit of time actually compared to my previous best. Still 2 tenths up though, heading into the sector 3S section, running as close as possible to the walls here, trying to carry all the speed possible. And you can see it just maximizing every single corner, using all of the curbs, runoff, and making the track as wide as possible as we head through the final section now, trying to carry the speed into this slow left-hand hairpin, and then quickly back on the gas as we make our way through the final corner, carrying the momentum as we run across the line, and we improve by 2.5 tenths to P6, and that will be enough for us to get into Q3. Luckily that lap was strong enough, and there wasn't much more on the car at that point. You know, I knew I was hitting my peak. A 47.5, pretty strong lap. Bottas P1, and we get through in 8th place. Pretty close actually between myself, Gasly, Sainz, Ricciardo, but crucially we did just about enough, and that lap improvement of 3 tenths was good enough to see us through, because had we not improved, we would have finished in like P14. So it just goes to show every lap track evolution, you know, feeling more confident with the car is really, really important. And yeah, we're going to get into Q2, which is great for us. So, or into Q3, sorry. And we're going to get into Q3, which is great for us. And speaking of Q3, here we are then, same concept as before, of course. And we're currently at the end of my first time lap, and we're going to see where this puts us in the shuffle. It was actually a pretty poor lap, to be fair. We set a 47.8, or sorry, actually a 48.0. So half a second off our best Q2 time. So there is more time to find, and we're going to try and do that now. You see here on my second lap, trying to improve a little bit through here, and by the end of the lap, we're 8 tenths up. So this is a very strong lap, a purple middle sector, and by far my best lap in this qualifying session so far. We absolutely nailed it, and that's going to take us on to our next lap, which will be my final one, and you guys can enjoy that lap in full. And there we go, across the line, and it's going to be a marginal improvement and a 47.2 for us. So a very, very strong lap, and that would be my peak. No more left in the car, to be honest with you. That felt like the best I've got. And looking at the gaps, maybe I could have got Gasly, you know, here or there, some small margins, but that would have been the absolute maximum. You know, the car didn't have much more in it. So I'm happy we maximised the session, we maximised car performance, and P6 for us in Q3 here is a very, very good result. And I'm really looking forward to the race. So yeah, there's a lot of qualifying. We start P6, Russell starts P16, so hopefully George can pick up his game in the next couple of races. But yeah, in the end, a comfortable 6th place, but we're now going to move into the race, and fingers crossed we can try and have a good race, because obviously we're going to get the free tyre choice, which will be key, and that's going to give us a big performance boost. Hopefully we can try something on strategy, and yeah, we're going to see if we can try and crack into the top 5 in the race. But guys, that's it for qualifying. Let's move into the Vietnam Grand Prix.
The Formula One circus has arrived in Southeast Asia once more, as we usher in a new era and get ready to go racing here in Vietnam. A lap of Hanoi circuit then, 3.4 miles around the Vietnamese capital. A number of the 23 corners take their inspiration from other great circuits, hopefully creating plenty of passing opportunities. With the race minutes away from starting, here's what today's grid rundown looks like. Lewis Hamilton lines up on pole position, and it's Valtteri Bottas that completes the front row. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Albon, Verstappen, Pierre Gasly, Martinez, Vettel, Leclerc, Kvyat, and Carlos Sainz. Ricciardo, Perez, Esteban Ocon, and Stroll, Grosjean, Russell, Kevin Magnussen, and Lando Norris, Giovinazzi, and Nobuharu Matsushita. Which of these talented drivers will come out on top today?
It's time for the race, and we start from P6 on the grid, of course, after that decent qualifying yesterday. And there's no reason why we can't actually finish higher than what we are right now. We've got an AlphaTauri to our right, so already that could be one place we might be able to gain. Now, in terms of the race, of course, we're going to try and go for the 2-stop strategy. Now, I feel like, of course, the Williams is pretty tough on its tyres. The 1-stop is a good option, but I'm thinking the 2 could be the better way to go here today. Now, we're going to start on the soft tyres and basically just push, you know, go flat out at the start, try and pull away, try and get a gap, make the soft tyres work, and then switch to the medium, get the medium tyre out of the way, and then go back on the soft for kind of like a late push at the end of the race. Now, the weather forecast is dry, no rain expected. Fuel-wise, 0.8 extra, so not super heavy, but enough in the tank to run a bit of rich mix if necessary. Also, because around here the ERS is very hard to recharge, so you've got to be careful how you use it. But anyway, we're going to jump to the action and we're going to see how it goes. I'm looking forward to it, and hopefully today we can score some big points once again. Okay, here we go. Let's see how this goes. We're going to get the RPM sorted out as the lights are on. And away we go for the Vietnam Grand Prix. It's a quick 5 lights, caught napping a little bit. We actually get a good start, but our reaction time was very poor. Down the inside into turn 1. We're going to get sandwiched here between the Ferraris. Got to be careful. Leclerc, though, with an absolute dive bomb and a half into turn 1. He makes it work. Sebastian Vettel looking like he's going to make a move, but we managed to fight back up the inside and make the move there. Bit of oversteer, but crucially, we get back ahead of Seb, and we're P7. So we've lost 1 place to Charles Leclerc. Let's see if we can get that one back straight away. We know we're pretty good on the straight, of course, with this Mercedes power unit. So let's see if we're going to head onto the back straight. The AI, as always, will run, you know, their full power for the first part of the race. I can see the Mercs. They're on the medium tyre, so they're going to be a bit slower early on. I think Albon's leading the race. I could be wrong. But here we go, draining the ERS. Look at the speed here as we close up to Charles Leclerc. I'm not going to use any more because otherwise ERS will be pretty impossible to save later on. Into the hairpin, there's contact. Leclerc runs into the back of Pierre Gasly, and that's going to be an end plate loss for the Monegasque driver. So that's going to allow us to get ahead and make the move back up into P6. So that's another place made back, which is great. And we've got Gasly ahead, and then it's Verstappen, the 2 Mercs, and Albon is leading the way in the Red Bull. So there you go, there's your lot for lap 1. Pretty crazy opening lap. Let's see if we can use these soft tyres to potentially even get past the Merc cars, possibly if Verstappen and Gasly get a move on and make some progress here. We all know about the AlphaTauri and how fast it is on the straight, as Leclerc pits for repairs, so that's going to be the end of his race in many ways. That's going to put him off strategy. Let's see if we can get past Gasly though. We know the AlphaTauri, of course, and how fast it is on the straight, so it's going to be a difficult one to do. So we may have to wait a little bit, or wait till DRS gets enabled. And let's see if Verstappen can get past Bottas here. Oh, yellow flag behind. Retirement already. Looks like it could be. We're about to find out. I think it might be Vettel in the other Ferrari, so an absolute disaster for the Ferrari team. In the space of 2 laps, their race has completely fallen apart here. Let's see if we get a safety car. We usually do. I'm waiting for it, as Verstappen's putting a move on Bottas, it seems like, into the hairpin. I'm going to wait for confirmation on that retirement. But Verstappen around the outside of Bottas gets it done. Looks like we've got no confirmation just yet. Maybe Vettel still hasn't pulled over, but now Gasly going for the move on Bottas here. Look at this. And there you go, confirmation. And just as it happens, safety car deployed. But Gasly makes the move on Valtteri. Okay, safety car in this lap. And as you can see, tyres are freezing cold. I've put pretty much no effort into them whatsoever. This is, of course, my new technique to just save as much tyre wear as possible. And obviously, this safety car means that we may potentially be able to stretch this to a 1-stop now. So I am going to try and keep that option open. So therefore, I'm trying to keep tyre warming to an absolute minimum because of that. So yeah, we're going to be on a little bit cold tyres, but we should be okay. But like I said, this is now going to open up the 1-stop strategy for us. So I need to just try and manage my tyres a little bit. At the same time, getting past Bottas now is crucial. I've overdone my braking here. Got distracted by the radio transmission.
Okay, copy that.
Yeah, that's fine. We'll just go for that now. Not really too concerned. Right, let's crack on then. Let's try and get after Bottas. I feel like we need to make use of this soft tyre before it wears out. And obviously, we're going to have a big advantage over Bottas. So we need to try and push on after him here if possible. Looks like Kvyat, though, has something to say about it. Into the chicane, we're going to just hold the inside line and stay ahead for now. We all know how fast the AlphaTauri is on the straight, and the AI, of course, running full power on this restart, as they always do. Right, that's a good exit. I'm going to just drain the battery here to get past Bottas. I'm going to use everything I've got. Engine temps are good, so this should be perfectly possible. Just going to turn the ERS off there. Oh, Bottas moves across right at the last minute. They have to get out of the throttle completely. It's going to be a battle of the late breakers. Meanwhile, Albon actually being overtaken by Hamilton. Or I think that's actually Verstappen overtaking Hamilton. But we get past Bottas, and there we go. Another Merc down, up to P5. Let's see if we can get onto the DRS of Gasly up ahead and try and drop Bottas if we can. Okay, so Bottas is going backwards. He's struggling for pace. We're going pretty well. DRS now enabled. Pace is good on these tyres. Gasly currently behind Hamilton, who can't find a way through just yet. I'm trying to close up, but it is proving to be a little bit difficult. Gasly being dragged along by DRS, which is making it harder than expected to close back up, but hopefully we can still get there. Maybe I have to use a bit more ERS than I'd like, but hopefully it's worth it in the long run. And we've got Kvyat now kind of as a rear gunner to protect us from Bottas, so far it's not going too badly here. And we've got the Red Bull 1-2 out front, of course, both of them on soft tyres. Gasly overtaking Hamilton now, so he's going for it. This is good news for us. Hopefully they keep battling and we can try and close the gap. Also, I'm trying to make his tyres last as well, but there we go. Hopefully we can now get after Lewis and try and get DRS on him. Here, Ricciardo, Kvyat pit behind us. Everyone else up front is staying out though, so looks like we could be one-stopping in terms of the top 5 here. Okay, a couple cars in the pit lane. Gasly and Verstappen pit. Albon stays out. So we're going to probably pit end of lap 10 and try and one-stop this onto the mediums. That's the plan. Oh, that was close. That was a scary one. Tyres are starting to go now. Albon should be in this lap as well. There you go. So I'm going to stay out. Hamilton's in as well. Okay, that's interesting. That's very interesting. That's a very early stop. I was meant to pit this lap, but I'm going to go one more. I feel like I've got the tyres for it, so I'm going to go one more. Looking at the strategy, everyone seems to be 2-stopping, so I'm going to try and make this a 1-stop. And that might just give me a big advantage. So we're going to pit at the end of this lap now, lap 12, for the medium tyres. Okay, we're going to pit this lap then. This 1-stop is going to be our kind of golden ticket, silver bullet, to try and maybe go to the podium. I feel like Verstappen's too quick, he's too far ahead, but everyone else we can definitely, you know, jump those guys, I feel like. So first gear in the pits to try and save more ERS than fuel, because we don't really need the fuel right now. If I needed more fuel, I'd take the pit lane in second gear, but that would mean saving less ERS. There's a little tip for you guys. But yeah, first gear in the pit lane, we're going to box. Hopefully the mechanics come through the big one for us, because we need a quick stop. Let's see how this goes. Hamilton new fast as that. There we go, that's good, 2.5, love that. Alright, hopefully we can rejoin here ahead of Grosjean and Sainz, this little pack of cars here, let's see. Away we go, out the pit lane. Little lift onto the grass, but crucially, look at that. We're ahead. Oh, back end there, just trying to slip away from me. Alright, that's okay, we've lost out to Ricciardo and Norris by the looks of it, but that's fine. We're on a different strategy now, we're running a different race. Let's see if we can make it work now. Well, I've got Lando in the pit lane there, so we're now at P6. Let's see how this goes now. Just saving a little bit of fuel at the minute. That's a good lap. Personal best, high 36. And we're now within DRS range of Ricciardo. This should be hopefully an easy pass this lap if we just close up through this section and basically try and pass him on the back straight. Let's stay on board here to see if I can do that. Through here, tricky section. On traction, but there we go. We've got plenty of ERS. I'm not using too much. And here we go. We're going to close the gap on this straight with some DRS. Early on the brakes to not make any mistakes through here. Keep it nice and tidy. And there we go. Now it's all about just staying nice and close through here. Try and straighten out the exit as much as possible. And now we open all of the power here from the engine. ERS fully deployed. I'm going to wait for the DRS here before I use any more. There we go. We can make this move with just DRS, to be fair. There we go. Gaining. We're going to... We're kind of trying to match me in the brakes, but we're going to just go around the outside. And there we go. Nicely done. Going a bit deep into the corner on purpose to kind of sharpen off the mid corner and then straighten up the exit, which gave me better traction. And there we go. We're off to P5. 5 seconds behind Albon. Let's try and close that gap down a little bit if we can, especially in these laps where the soft hull will start to fall apart. Pierre Gasly into the pit lane. I'm going to guess Verstappen's probably into as well, like the previous stint. And then Albon should be in next lap. There we go. So Verstappen, who was the race leader in the pit lane, he's gone for the hard tyre, which is interesting. So we are going to have a tyre advantage still. It's going to be close, but we are going to be ahead of Max by a couple of seconds. So we'll keep an eye on that. I don't think we can win the race. I think Max will be quicker than me, but second place is definitely on the cards here, I think. And there we go. Hamilton and Albon pit, the remaining two. So we are going to take the net race lead here. Worth noting, Gasly's gone for the mediums compared to Verstappen's hard tyre. We'll see what tyres Hamilton and Albon go for now in comparison. Looks like Lewis has gone for soft tyres, so he's going to be rapid at the end of the race. Albon to medium. That's interesting. We're all going to kind of come together then, so Hamilton on softs is going to be one to watch out for sure. But for now, we're leading the race. Let's try and hold on as long as we can. Here comes Max. DRS for him. I don't really want to use all of my DRS to defend. I'm just going to try and pump my car to the left and see if I can outbrake him. Down the inside to the hairpin. It's close. We lock up, but we crucially stay ahead. For now, Hamilton P3 and softs, he's going to be one to watch out for here. Looks like we've got double trouble this time. Hamilton is super fast. Let's see what happens behind us. I'm going to try and stay ahead, of course. I don't really want to go 3 wide. I think I've done enough actually to stay ahead on the straight, so we haven't got to worry. It's all about what Lewis does now. Going to go for the apex, but Hamilton with a dive. There's contact. He hits me in the side. I have to leave some room, but Hamilton is on it. He's aggressive. He's fast. He's looking for the win. We're going to hold on for now, though. But this battle is far from over. Hamilton's really pushing here. He's using a lot of ERS. Down the inside he goes. Can't really match him. I've got to wait. I can't hang it side by side. Verstappen tries to get through, but no way past for him. Luckily, we should get DRS from Lewis here, but Verstappen is right on my gearbox. I've got to be careful. And Gasly's now in the mix as well. Look at this. Here they come. Everyone's just using full power now. And this is forcing me to use my ERS reserves, which is not what I wanted to do, but the game's the game. I'm going to force Verstappen defensive here. Into the hairpin. I'm going to show him the long way round. And we hold on to P2 for now. This is going to be a long final few laps here of this race. Okay, here comes Verstappen once again. We're going to have to defend. We're going to show him the long way around. I'm going to wait until the last minute to use the ERS that I have left. Here we go. Into the hairpin. Oh my god, it's very tight. I think Max has done it though. Can't really respond, unfortunately. I don't really have the pace at this stage. Obviously my tyres are struggling a little bit. So Max makes the move. Let's see what kind of pace he has in the hard tyre. Maybe I can keep up with him. Maybe he can drag me with DRS. Yeah, Max is really fast. And now here comes Pierre Gasly. We know about the AlphaTauri and the straight line speed of that car. Gasly actually outbrakes me here around the outside here. I have to leave some room. I'm going to try and go around the outside through here. And we just edge ahead, but we're not over the hill yet. We're not out of the woods. Here comes Gasly again. I might just have to accept this one. I'm going to let him choose a side. I'm going to try and step in behind. Now, with my remaining ERS, can we get this one back? I'm trying it. But it's not to be, unfortunately. Pierre gets past, and I can't really do anything about it. And now Albon's closing in as well. Here comes Alex already. She's going for it. I don't really have a lot of ERS to fight with here, unfortunately. I'll let him go to the left. We're going to try and take the shorter run by keeping it close to the wall on the right. But you can see we've just got nothing to fight with, unfortunately, and it's game over. So there we go. Albon makes the move, and I think that's going to be it for this race. I think P5 is going to be where we finish. In the end, the one-stop gamble didn't pay off, but obviously I had to try something. I was going to finish P5 anyway, so it was all about trying something different and seeing if we could maybe nick a podium or something. And there we go then. That is going to be it for today's race. Making our way now through the final sector. I believe Hamilton will win it. Verstappen is going to push him because of those hard tyres, and also Lewis losing the softs at the end. It's going to be close, but Lewis will win here today, I believe, and he's also going to get the fastest lap. We're going to come home in a brilliant P5. Really good result. We managed to actually gain a place from where we started, of course, beating Bottas. And once again, it's another points finish in this career mode.
Well, they've done a brilliant job, I must say, under some intense pressure to take a well-earned victory here at the Vietnam Grand Prix. Talk to me, Ant. What was it that set them apart from the competition today?
Well, I know it's a bit of a boring answer, but the truth is they simply had the best speed package on the day, and a driver who knows how to take advantage of that. It doesn't matter how much time you spend poring over the stats and planning strategies if you can't keep the pace, and our winner today showed they could do both.
And I can see the drivers starting to approach the podium for the victory celebrations. A real team victory today. Everybody played their part. Congratulations then to Mercedes, your race winners today.
Well, there we go then, guys. That is it for the race here today. Hamilton picks up the W in Vietnam, also picking up the fastest lap. Verstappen pushed him to the end but wasn't quite close enough. Pierre Gasly with a phenomenal podium and a third place finish, and I believe AlphaTauri's second podium of the season after, of course, the shock result last time out in Bahrain with Kvyat picking up the win. Albon P4, we finished in 5th place ahead of Ricciardo, Sainz, Norris, Bottas in P9, and Ocon rounds out the top 10 for the Renault Alpine team. Missing out the points, we have the Aston Martin Racing point of Sergio Perez, Kvyat last time's race winner, Leclerc, Stroll, Russell P15 ahead of Grosjean, Giovinazzi, Magnussen and Matsushita, with Sebastian Vettel out of the race in the Ferrari. We look at the driver standings, and after 3 rounds of the 2021 season, Verstappen leads the way by 14 points over Hamilton, Albon 3rd, Bottas 4th, we are in 5th place ahead of Kvyat, and then it's Norris, Ricciardo, Gasly and Sainz rounding out the top 10. We then look at the constructor standings, and we are currently in 6th. Renault Alpine 1 point ahead, McLaren 11 points ahead of us actually. AlphaTauri up to 3rd, and Red Bull Racing lead the way over Mercedes. So there's a lot for the race here today at Vietnam. We're now going to move into the menu and once again put further upgrades onto our car. So after the race, as you can see, Alex Albon does outscore us in the rivalry, which is a bit of a shame. But then again, to be expected, unfortunately, as we're a little bit off the pace right now. We then look, of course, at the driver acclaim, and we gain a fair amount actually for finishing P4 here today, but we're now going to move into the juicy bit, and that is the upgrades. Okay, here we are then back on the main menu slash workstation. We have over 1500 R&D points. We've got an upgrade on the way for the 11th, and we're going to go ahead and add to that here today. And I am looking at potentially a major one. So aerodynamics, as you can see, we're still last, so we're going to go ahead and correct that. So I'm going to go ahead and buy this upgrade here. It's a major one. It should hopefully get us level with Alfa Romeo, and that is scheduled to arrive after the Chinese Grand Prix. I'm tempted to risk it and go again and try and go before and rush it, see if we get lucky again. So I'm going to go ahead and see if we can get that on the car for the next race. Hopefully it works out. So currently 2 upgrades on the way. If they both arrive, we'll close the gap quite a lot to McLaren, who are the next team ahead. So let's see how that goes, and let's skip ahead to the next race in China. Well, unfortunately, we tried to rush it and it didn't work. It backfired, so it has failed. We'll repurchase that in the next episode, hopefully along with maybe a minor upgrade like this one here for the rear downfalls. So maybe another double aerodynamic upgrade on the way. The chassis one, though, has arrived, so that's something. So yeah, pretty much we're sitting on a failed upgrade as we head into round 4 at the Chinese Grand Prix. So guys, that's going to be it for today's episode here today. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, then feel free to leave a like. I'd really appreciate it. Subscribe for more daily F1 content, and as always, thank you to the members of the channel for supporting. It means a lot. Finally, check out 2 videos on screen if you have missed them, and I'll see you guys next time for the Chinese Grand Prix. Until then, take care, and it's goodbye from me.